So I'm Vanessa. I'm the coach from Keto Buddies, and this is Cara. And do you want to tell them how long we've been coaching? How long we've been working together?
Yep. So today is day 22 for me, and I think we started talking about a week before I started, so probably a month now.
Yeah. Fabulous. And you're on a 90-day program, right?
Yep.
Yep. Awesome. Cool. And I wondered if you can let people know, and there's no right or wrong, and it's whatever you're comfortable sharing. So why did you decide to kind of seek out help in regards to your journey?
I felt like I was a little bit stuck. I'm sort of from a sporting background and a coaching background, and I think that for a long time I thought I could do it all myself and was struggling because the years were passing by and I was having some success, but then going back always to some old habits. And yeah, so I sought out Vanessa's help because I think I accepted that I probably needed the support of somebody else to find my way through and stop being so, I guess, critical of myself. I was starting to tell myself a story that I wasn't good enough because I wasn't able to make it all happen on my own. And at the time also, we just started traveling and some freeness had come up in my life, and I really was ready for a new change. And I was starting to feel sluggish, and I was not going down the path of losing weight, and I wasn't maintaining. So I was sort of heading to I was going to get larger scenario. So, and I think the biggest reason, there's a lot of reasons there, but the main one was that mentally I was starting to get low and sad, and I really just needed somebody's support to, get me out of it.
Great. Thank you for sharing. That's very kind. Yeah, it's not easy to share. It's not easy to make the decision to start a journey and to ask for help. Yeah, I definitely understand where that comes from. I guess, what did you expect about going down the track of a health coaching versus, like there's so many normal, other diet programs and things like that. What were you looking for? What was your expectation? And then I guess what's been different than what you originally thought?
Well, I knew that this time I was not just getting a program that I had to follow. Like it wasn't just about the food. It was actually, from talking to you before I started, that there was going to be that support to make long-term lifestyle changes, which are, at 42 and having had a weight issue since, 16, 17 and yo-yoing a little bit, like I knew that just another diet was not going to cut it, that I needed support and care and, a way forward that was different. And I think the thing that surprised me the most was that the food that we're choosing to eat on this program is actually aligning itself so beautifully with the coaching and the changes that it just boosts you up so quickly. Like it gives you're empowered to make your own choices and be in control. And that was probably my biggest surprise, because I thought by about day 14, I'd be ready to start doing that cheeky cheating and where can I cut this bit and where can I cut that bit, to be that rebel that I've always sort of been in this weight loss journey. But it's never came, and it hasn't. And on day 22, I still have stuck to the program and not eaten off. So I was pretty surprised about that, to be honest.
How does that feel for you to be so in control, I guess, compared to
I just feel empowered. I feel empowered, and the biggest, like I've had so many great results in 22 days, but the main thing is that my thinking is clear and I'm able to love myself the way that I know I should, because, it's hard to explain. Like there's no more cravings. Like I'm not constantly craving or thinking about the next meal, which I always was. So that empowers me to think about other things and to be more productive. And it's just becoming a roller coaster of positivity, really.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I guess in in how we're coaching, there's a few different systems. Like we're trying to build out your toolbox. So, we use an app for accountability and the teaching platform for weekly videos and everything for you. And then we have a group session on Monday nights. And then we have our one-on-one coaching as well. What have you found of those? What resonates most with you? Like, what do you like? What do you think is pushing your needle forward? Like, everybody's different, so everybody finds different things. What do you like?
I really enjoy connecting with the other girls on the program. I've really, really enjoyed seeing some of their wins and being there to support each other. And I found that little group over the last probably week and a half has really started to develop into something, and the girls are starting to share, where they live, and and the way that you promote with us in the group to share, like a goal that we're trying to get into or something that's been a win for us. It's just, you just feel like a community. And at the moment, because I'm this whole COVID thing and the fact that we're stuck in the middle of nowhere and can't really move on, I've actually found that really comforting. Yeah.
Oh, that gave me goosebumps hearing about the other ladies. Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah. No, I think as well, it's been like people are, coming out of their shells. It's not easy, like for sure, to talk about your own journey and to share with other people that are, initially strangers, that's for sure. And everybody is on individual programs, but we still have that component of being in community. So, I'm glad to hear that's resonated with you. That's awesome. So you mentioned some wins that you've been having, and we try to focus on non-scale victories. Like we try and ditch the scale as much as possible. What have been personal wins for you?
Well, the week before I started with Keto Buddies and doing any sort of change, I was wearing a pair of my black jeans, and I went to bed that night after a Saturday out socializing on the station, and my hips were sore. They were sore from where the waistline was, and I just was quite fed up with that. Anyway, it had only been 1 week, and I wore the jeans again the following weekend, and they were fitting so much nicer, and I didn't have that pain there. So that was fantastic. And also have that same thing very quickly with a bra that I wear. So those to me, like, I guess they're scalable in a way, but just to be comfortable in my own clothes that I have right now, not even ones that are in the closet waiting, but, ones that I'm actually wearing every day, because it's pretty defeating to be wearing your clothes and they're uncomfortable, I think. And the other really important one, I think, is just my mental health has improved. I'd have to nearly say 100% from the first day that Vanessa and I spoke. I've always known that certain foods affect my mood, and I really believe in the gut-mind connection, but it wasn't enough for me to be making that change. And the program, the way it's set up, has actually allowed me to stay away from those foods, to give my gut the space and time that it needs. And my skin is completely cleared up, and I just think straight. I get up in the morning and I can manage the day, and it's not that anxiety loop going around all day about what I should be doing, what I shouldn't be doing. And I'm enjoying life, which is fun. It's nice.
That's awesome. So, what is your vision for yourself for future you?
Yeah, so some of my visions are parts of me that I've never had before, and some of them are parts of me that I've had in the past but tend to keep losing. So just to increase my fitness, I've been a runner on and off, but I want to be that person that goes away on holiday and gets up in the morning and goes and runs down the beach, and then enjoys a nice coffee or a latte, however I decide to have it, and feel that sense of accomplishment early in the morning that movement is done, and that you've gone out and done that because you care about yourself and you care about your family, because your family are watching you, especially your children are watching to see how you take on life and what you find is important. yeah, so the future me is one that, you know, gives myself grace. Thanks, Vanessa, for the line. And yeah, does things for myself so that I can be the person I need to be for my family and my friends, and yeah, whatever else I choose to do in life.
That's beautiful. And so prior to starting, when was the last time you went running, and how did that feel? And then tell them what you're accomplishing already. It's amazing.
So, well, I know I ran in the Melbourne Marathon last October. I didn't do the marathon, by the way, so don't get too excited. I just did the 5K run, because we do a run for Tennille for my my sister-in-law, which passed away. And I managed to get the 5Ks out, but since then I probably only have run once or twice, and it's been a pretty painful experience just because I'd put the extra weight on. And I had allowed it to be a little bit defeating and thinking, God, when am I ever going to get back to where I used to be? But then, yes, I signed up for an 8-week running program. It's a little bit like Couch to 5Ks that I was going to get my son and I to do out here. And we started a week, and then it had kind of gone by the wayside. And then when we signed up, I signed up with Vanessa, the motivation to do movement, and I was feeling a bit better. So I'm on to week 2 now, and I'm getting the program done every day. But I'm pushing myself that little bit further, because I want to be that new me, that vision of me that gets the job done before 9 o'clock every morning. And yeah, I'm giving myself grace, and I'm working towards that.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, everyone in the group's very inspired by your movement. So yeah, we hope to join. I'm actually also not a runner, but would love to be.
I didn't let you guys know, but the last post I put up about my leggings rolling down under my stomach, which is extremely annoying, and one goal I'm heading for. That day I ran out the driveway, and a couple of local Aboriginal people were trying to muster back in a couple of the cattle, like 2 little calves we have here. So my run actually involved mustering 2 calves back up the driveway. So there's never a dull moment.
Yeah. And I guess that's important, as well. So you've started this journey, and you're on a station in the middle of the outback, and you're still able to seek the food that you need and eat, this food that fuels your body. And we have our coaching on video, and everything is still possible. And I think sometimes people tell themselves lots of stories. Well, even in isolation, I've heard, oh, well, I won't be able to get the food and things like that. But in reality, the food that's in scarcity for the most parts is the carbs and the sugar. And here you are in the middle of nowhere in a whole nother level of scarcity, but able to actually still manage the food.
Yeah. Well, I actually found, Vanessa, interestingly enough, that I went shopping, because we can get to Alice Springs. So I went shopping, trying hard not to go in every week, because it's just a bit of an effort. But yeah, so I bought all the food back for week 1, and that was fine. I pretty much got through that in week 1. But by week 2, I didn't even eat half the food. There was extra food here available. So I just didn't need to get back into town to get the things I needed, because, I was satisfied, and I was finding other alternatives. And yeah, it was just easy.
Yeah. And I guess you're eating real food, right? It's like meat and vegetables.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's not anything like this, like people need to be worried about. We're just using real food to fuel our body.
Yeah, that's right. And I guess what you're sort of trying to say is that if I wasn't able to go into town, I would still be able to eat from the station and what they provide, because we get our meals provided here. There's beef, and, we have cream and vegetables, and, they get cabbage, those kind of things. It might get a little bit boring. And when I started, I wanted to make the recipes in the app, because I like to cook and I like variety. And I've found that that's all been part of it. There's lots of great variety and very satisfying whole foods in the program.
Excellent. Yeah, great. So where do you, you've got your running and the person that you want to be, and what other goals are you working on?
So it's pretty important to myself and my family that in the next few years that we're able to travel and do a bit of work here and there, but we want the freedom to be able to, have an income from wherever we move, like so that we can be wherever we like, where we work. So that's really required me to be in a kind of state that can make that happen. And I've been paralyzed a little bit for the last few years, and I was really hoping when I contacted Vanessa to get my health back in order, and really was a mood stabilizing thing and a confidence thing. And so the whole build your vision of the future that Vanessa works with, and not be the same person at the end that you were when you started, just really resonated. And I wanted to be able to wake up and have my business ideas flowing and to feel confident and happy to work on them. And I was only just telling Vanessa, 4 or 5 days ago that, and I wrote into my journal that I was just so excited that I was out hanging out the washing, and that flow of creativity and that motivation and passion for what I believe in was all starting to come back. Whereas, a month ago, I was just beating myself up all day about, not having followed things that I wanted to follow and not being good enough. And it was just, I don't know, it's just such a different headspace. And I really feel, what's the word? I'm so confident that at the end of this 90 days, I'm going to be capable and that my toolbox is going to be full enough to launch myself wherever I want to go. Because I'm going to have myself back, basically, and more.
Yeah, awesome. The best, most confident, healthiest version of you.
That's correct.
Yeah, awesome.
Coming every day, every minute, stronger all the time.
And what's something, like that you would want to tell somebody who was struggling or thinking about trying, to eat this way, whether coaching involved or not coaching involved, or, they're not sure about, oh, should I have a coach? Like, what's something that has just almost been a light bulb or something that's come up for you that you would tell somebody who is on the fence?
Well, it's the only thing that resonates hugely with me is because I have been in the health and wellness space, and I have been a leader on Facebook and tried to assist people with the change. And I wasn't prepared to admit that I needed help myself. Everybody needs somebody to talk to, and everybody needs somebody in their corner. You can't go out and win a boxing match without somebody there patting you down and fixing up the blood and, taking all the knocks for you and giving you that, that little chat in the ear that says you've got this next round. And I feel like because I got to my weakest moment for a little bit and, realized, hang on, I do need someone in my corner. And, from what experience that I'd had from Vanessa and, how we came about meeting and it all happened, I realized you were the person that I wanted, and I'm extremely happy that you were the person I chose. But we all need to make changes and habits if we want our health to improve. It's about habits, but you need someone in your corner to help you make those habits. You can't do everything on your own.
Yeah, thank you very much. Those are very kind words. It's the reason I'm doing it to help. Yeah, for sure. Is definitely the reason. I myself have coaches for sure. I've come to that conclusion, and on my own journey, I needed coaches as well. And, in business, people have mentors and coaches, like the most successful athletes have coaches. It is out there. It's probably more like men do it more than women, because women, we're always helping everyone else. We don't normally take the time to help ourselves. So there's probably a little bit of stigma I found around women actually seeking help for some things in our lives. But, I think that the acceleration that you can get, like you just said, you know, like you're out of the gate and you're going, and my objective is for everybody to fly, right? Like I want you to fly, I want you to fly away, I want you to have this toolbox and just be able to do it. You know, so I think that it's, for women, it's so hard to ask for help and to take the time for yourself and say yes to self. And that's one of the things we talk about, you know, in the program, is like we have to say yes to self, and it takes a lot to learn and can continue to say yes to self. And sometimes that means we have to say no or not yet to someone else. I'm not ready, but we can't show up for others like we want to, and we all talk about, and we have to serve our family and our community and our workplace, but we can't if we're not actually looking after ourselves. And it comes to a point, you know, where sometimes, unfortunately, we get ourselves into a crisis, a health crisis, and then we have to seek the help. But sometimes if we can avoid the crisis and actually seek the help, you know, you're going to avoid some pain in your life ahead of time.
Yeah. Well, for me, it required me to be vulnerable for, you know, and I was always trying to be so strong and, you know, surge forward and I will find a way, you know, that was just my personality and mentality, that I'm going to find a way. And then I assume that, yeah, this year it just came about that, well, the way is to get support. And with that support, you can then, like you said, fly. Like I have all these skills and abilities that were just flailing because I wasn't willing to get the right support at the time. And yeah, the vulnerability came when I said enough's enough. Let's just make the phone call and get it done.
I think you've been so good at actually a lot of doing the inner work, you know, like you really have excelled at saying, okay, this is my homework, my action steps for the week. And then you try and you just get the most out of it, which has been, you know, hats off to you for doing the work, because when you show up for yourself, you know, that's where you shift the needle. And it is uncomfortable. We all have to get uncomfortable to get comfortable again. We all have to like get outside our comfort zones to move forward, because ourselves, you know, it's innate to us to keep ourselves comfortable, but that isn't always the most, you know, the best place for us to be, in the comfortable zone. But our brain doesn't know to help us change. You know, it wants to keep us in the comfortable zone. So working through getting uncomfortable is often difficult. And that's where, you know, doing it in community, however that looks like for you, you know, can help people move forward with their goals. So yeah, is there anything else you'd like to add? Or?
Yeah, it's coming to me now while you're speaking, sort of in support of what we talked about just a moment ago. But like, yes, I could always write the action steps and I could always say, this is what I've got to do. And you can do it for a certain amount of time, but then, you know, life will turn up, and whether it's somebody gets sick or something stressful happens with money or the kids are hard work or whatever, and all of a sudden it's so easy to drop the bundle and go, I've got to go deal with that. But when you've got the support of someone in your corner, you know, they are saying, are you okay? What's happening now? Well, here's a strategy you can use to get through this. Whereas your brain just goes to that complete new situation and drops everything because you haven't got the tools to deal with it. But, you know, you're holding us up while we build the tools. And I think that's why it's just working so beautifully.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, definitely, you guys are definitely doing the work, right? Like, but it is in community, I believe. And that's why, you know, it's kind of misleading, like the name Keto Buddies, because, you know, people, their definition of keto is probably a lot different than what we actually do and how we eat here. And nobody has to go around spending their life counting or anything like that. Like, you learn to build a healthy plate using real foods. It's not high fat, like we use moderate amounts of fat and a really nice plate, but we build so many other things. Like I'll say, it's 20% about the food, right? And it's 80% about the mind work, and doing that like under the guise of community and family and having a buddy, right? So that's why I went with the name Keto Buddies. But sometimes I think people, gosh, it's just keto, but it really isn't, right? Like, we can adapt, shift the food to fit what works best for someone's body, that's for sure. But it really is about doing it with support. And I mean, everybody supports each other, and you guys support me as well, right? Like it's just a great thing, and it makes
Yeah.
me proud to be part of it and have you guys excel. Yeah, it's awesome.
And another thing, Vanessa, I didn't mention, which is probably a big thing as well. Like I'd tried keto before and had struggled. So I don't know what amazing work you've done and research and study, but what's been put together in the app with the way that we eat is just, it's really easy on your belly. Like I've found keto in the past, I've struggled because I found it too heavy in dairy and a few other things. But yeah, it's such a balanced eating program. That was another thing I really noticed. It was nothing like something I tried to do by myself.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. You know, that is one of the objections that people have, is like, you can do keto on your own, and for sure you can, like 100%. But I would actually say that probably 70% of my clients have done keto before and haven't had, I mean, they've had success, but they haven't seen a way or learned a way that you can fit it in with your lifestyle, and to give yourself the grace that you don't need to have perfection for success, and that, you know, we need to find a way to eat that fuels our body, and then build in, like, we do the deeper work around our vision and who you want to be and what you want to be feeling and doing and everything when you get to the goals that you have. So I think, yeah, I'm definitely seeing like it's a different experience for most women who have done it before. It is completely different. Like, yeah, some of the food might be
you don't have to be cooking all this random stuff. Like one of these other programs I followed just from online, you know, I was making egg pasta and all these things, and it was mental. But what we do, it's easy. What do you say? Push the easy button. Let's just get a cook up happen, and you know, yeah.
Great.
I'm hardly ever in the kitchen, to be honest, unless I want to be.
Beautiful. Yeah, well, definitely, because if it's not livable, then it's not going to work, right? Like, it needs to be livable, because the goal is to get everybody off the diet roller coaster, because it doesn't work. Being on the diet doesn't work. But if you can heal your body and address the inflammation and become of a stronger mind, you know, get the mental clarity that you said, and the weight loss is the side effect of it, right? So, yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it, because I know lots of people, you know, are watching and unsure, and, you know, even unsure to start themselves. And I'm fully happy to support people who want to go it on their own and ask questions in our Facebook group. You know, everybody is so kind and helps each other. So I encourage anyone who's on the fence or anything like that, just to get started, right? Like, because you never know what's going to happen. So just move forward and start. And if you need to ask for help, and that can come in lots of different ways.
For sure. I mean, they won't look back. I haven't looked back. I'm always forward from here.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. And thanks so much for taking your time out of your day. And I look forward to speaking with you again later in the week and hearing more wins. Thanks so much, Cara.